To go over some of the armor I'm wearing, there are some must-haves, needs, and some wants. So the must-have is a melee weapon. Regardless of which cape you're going for, you must have a melee weapon. The capes, as you can see, are melee, ranged, or magic. They are based on which combat style you do the most damage in. That is to say, if you do the entire thing as magic, but you actually beat the last boss as melee, you'll still get a magic cape because the magic is the most damage you've done throughout the entire uh, fights. So uh, I'm going to be going equipped as though I do not have the cape. So it'll emulate someone who's going in for their first time. You'll have your 99 cape. By now you should at least have 199, so you'll have that. You can get any old illuminated god book for just stats. You don't need it activated. As you can see, mine has 0 time. I'm using a generic, Sawir Wand Elders with Precise and Equilibrium, main hand, offhand, mage. Blast Diffusion boots. Cinderbane gauntlets works. You can get Carapax wrist wraps for magic. You can do Nightmare gauntlets for ranged. You can do Crystal gauntlets, whatever you want. It doesn't matter. But the rest of my armor pieces, the head, the chest, and the legs, are going to be obsidian for the overall damage reduction. It really makes this much simpler, much easier to do. You do lose a bit of damage, but the defensive bonus makes up for it. You'll see. Um, Out of that, you'll notice the helmet is Obsidian Mage Helm, and you'll notice I have another one here. That's the Obsidian Warrior Helm for melee. This is specialized for that combat style, so that when you do occasionally switch to melee, you do not lose a combat style bonus for having pure mage armor on. The other pieces, even if you use the gloves and or boots, are hybrid armor, so it won't affect any combat style aside from the helmet. So must have again, melee weapon. You need it for the dill, the Tokar dills. The dills have a shell that is required to be cracked prior to damaging them, and you need a melee weapon for that. I suggest a scythe or a halberd of some kind, but any two-handed melee weapon works. You could theoretically use dual wield. It's not a good idea because that's 2 items versus a single item for a switch. Outside of that, bringing Blood Fury, Amulet of Souls, doesn't matter. Either one will work. I'm using Souls. You do also want to have a Takul Zo. You do not need this. You do not need the Obsidian armor, but you do want them because it makes it simple, makes it a lot easier. The Takul Zo you get from a quest while you unlock it, and it increases your damage by 10% against any obsidian creatures, including the Fight Cave and the Fight Kiln. So definitely worth having. You can keep it charged by paying some Takul here in the main city, and they'll charge it up for you. As you can see in my inventory, I do have some prayer potions. I've got 1 super restore, 1 prayer flask, and 1 prayer renewal. You do not need the renewal. It just helps, makes life a little easier. I have 1 set spare in my yak, prayer, restore, and renewal. You can bring all restores, all prayers, doesn't matter. You do want some Saradomin brews. I'm running 8 myself. Some people can run 5 or 6, but 8 is a good number. I'm using about a third of my space for jellies. I've got roughly 15 or 20, 25. And then the rest of it you fill up with whole food. I'm using rockfish. Once you're comfortable, you can actually use sharks and it'll be okay. But starting out, you definitely want rockfish, sailfish, some big number food to help you get through the damage. But believe it or not, you actually won't be using prayer or damage reductions or anything like that, or really be taking a whole lot of damage at the beginning. It's really on the bigger fights. Now, you can also bring combat potions. I'm using overloads. You don't have to, but it definitely helps. But before we go in, I'm going to quickly go over the important waves because they are important. So the first ones are your dill waves. Dill waves are going to be on 19 and 29. These are important because you want to save the dills for last. Kill everything else, then you can crack the dill and kill it. And there's kind of a shuffle method that I use. Run up, hit them once or twice, run away. Because dills, if you have prayer active, will hit you with a special ability that hurts significantly bad. The armor does help, but it doesn't negate it completely. Also, they can be angry little assholes, and sometimes they'll hit you with it for no reason at all, and it just hurts. So try to hit and run until you crack it. Then you can either hit them once or twice more with whatever melee weapon, or switch back to your primary and kill them with that. But crack the shell first. And you'll be able to see it. There's an animation. The second one is the JAD waves. Those are going to be every 10 waves at the beginning. That is wave 10, 20, and 30. After that, it'll be 34, 35, and 36. 36 is a double JAD wave. Luckily, while you do have to fight two at once, you can separate them and go one-on-one, so you're not getting bombarded from both sides. We'll get to that when we get to it. So that's 19 and 29 for Dill, 10, 20, 30, 34, 35, and 36 for Jads. Now, there are only 37 waves in the Fight Kiln, whereas the Fight Cave has 3, 67, something like that. So this one is a bit faster, a lot more condensed, more enemies all at once, but easier, in my opinion. The other waves that are important are the crystal waves. Now, there are multiple crystals that can drop throughout the Fight Kiln. Most of them are not important. Some are useful, but not really worth picking up. The ones that are worth picking up are the invulnerability and the restoration crystals. Invulnerability crystals are what they are. They make you invulnerable to damage for 15 seconds. They are especially useful on your surprise Jad wave, which I believe is 34, 35, and the double Jad waves, at least until you're set up, unless you're already in position. It's nice to pop one just to have it, hence the reason why I have at least one empty space. Those drop on waves, or I should say after wave 1, wave 13, and wave 25 for a total of 3 crystals. You only need 1 or 2 of these, and you don't need them, but it's nice to have them as kind of a oh shit, you know. The other one are restoration crystals. They full heal you and fully restore your prayer points. Those drop after waves 3, 5, and 27. Now, I don't expect you to remember all of these waves. Just keep in mind that they are there, and after each wave, kind of swing your pointer over where they drop, which I'll show you, and see which one's there, and if it's one of the important ones, run over and snag it real quick. That's pretty much it for the pre-fight knowledge. So we're going to go ahead and enter. Now, I will say that if this is your first time, you're going to have the fire cape in your inventory, so that'll fill that empty slot. And you're going to give it to this guy, Tokar Hawk, and he will rip it and unlock the Fight Kiln. So, how you get started, you simply talk to him, go through any chat options, get to the Let's Fight option. Now, once you've done this once, he should give you the No, Let's Just Fight and Make It Quick option. That reduces the amount of time in between waves, so you have less time to, restore your health via adrenaline if you want to, eat, restore prayer, prep, etc. If you go with the No Let's Just Fight option, or if it's your first time and you don't have the option, then you get a little bit more time between each waves to recover. So we're going to start with that just to show you the full impact of it. However, if you do the other one, it saves you between 10 and 15 minutes. Assume, that you kill them at a decent speed. All right, so the first safe spot you'll want is to set your camera to north, and it will be in the southeast corner. So you want to run down here, and you'll see this L-shaped rock. You want to stand just on the inside of the L. And this is pretty much where you're going to more or less stay for about half or 3/4 of the Fight Kiln. As you'll notice, all the mobs get locked up here. Any that spawn over here get locked here. In the other corners, one will come and lock up here, and the other one will be able to attack you. But at that point, you're only fighting a single enemy versus 4+. This is where I do want to warn you. I say this will only be good for half to 3/4 because as you go through these waves, the arena will shrink. So it will get smaller and smaller, and the lava will rise higher and higher until you get to a point where you can no longer use this save spot. At that point, you want to move to the middle, and we'll show you that when we get to it. But for now, we're going to keep it oriented north, and then you're going to want to just kill things as they spawn. Now on this side, as you can see, I'm actually hitting this guy through the rock wall. That's because unlike this one over here, let me zoom in, this is a full wall. That is a half wall. So you can actually, and this is where I said bringing a halberd comes in handy, you can hit stuff over the wall. Now this is the first invulnerability crystal. You see where I was at, just south of the middle rock. That's where they spawn. Now obviously I did it late here, so that's a bad example, but that's fine. We'll get through this one real quick and we'll move on. So as you can see, most of the first set of mobs are going to be ranged. So you can actually pray ranged here if you want, or you can use soul split. It's up to you. It does not matter. You can choose whichever you prefer. I'm just going to pray range for a little bit to nuke them down. Again, I messed up that one. Normally, after the last guy died and you're prepared for it, you run to the middle, grab your invulnerability crystal, and you're going to run back. But that's why we brought food. And besides, you want to eat up a little bit of food just so that you can actually have that extra spot for your restoration crystal. So that works out for us pretty good. And if you're still watching, to reiterate, the crystals spawn right here. And you should, yeah, there's no crystal on wave 2. But you'll see when the next one, I believe on wave 3, the restoration crystal pops up. You'll see it right there, and we'll go and pick it up on the right time the next time. Now you'll see that I've got my auto retaliate here turned off. That's just on the off chance, my bad. That's just on the off chance that someone actually, comes and attacks you. It's so you don't take off running across the arena. The downside to that is you have to actually click on each and every enemy that you want to attack. Keep that in mind if you have it off, because otherwise you run into the issue of you're going to stand there and get hammered on and not be killing them and not know why, unless you remember you have your auto retaliate turned off. So just remember that. Don't forget that you do have to click each individual mob. All right, so here you go. Restoration crystal's up, so we're going to go ahead and run and grab it. Now we'll have just enough time to grab it and get right back to this corner before the next wave spawns. And here we go. Now, you'll notice a new mob type here. These are the Mej. These are going to be magic based. So up to this point, you've fought mostly ranged creatures with a couple of little melee guys. You can switch to melee regardless of what your primary type is for the first couple waves if you want, just to kill the range guys a little faster, save you some time, which I'll do. Well, I can't. Never mind. Not enough room. We'll make some room. All right, there we go. This is why I normally advise to bring a staff, but if you want to do dual wield, you can. But as you can see, you can melee them. It doesn't matter as long as your primary damage is whatever cape you're after. So just keep that in mind. You want to make sure that you do the most damage with whatever type of cape that you want. Now, if you watched any other videos, I'm going to mention it now, but it's not going to come into play until a little later at wave 10. Most of the videos that you're going to see are going to tell you that you want to um, move up to the center one to fight the first Jad. That is not the case. You can very much fight the first Jad standing right here at this L, which I will show you. And you can uh, ignore the middle until much later. Now, this is your first dill. He is not part of the primary dill waves, the ones with multiples. He's by himself, so he's not super important. But this is your first look at him. They kind of look like chubby armadillos, but that's what you're going to be fighting with a dill. And I'll get over there and show you in a moment just how you want to kill them using your melee and why you need your melee to kill them. The primary thing to remember though when fighting the dills is no prayers. Do not use a prayer, otherwise they will curb stomp you. So if you're killing it and following along with me as you're doing it rather than watching it, we're currently on wave 5. If you're killing them a little faster than me, that's fine. If you're killing them a little slower than me, that's fine. The cool thing is you don't have to worry too much about it. Now, as you can see, it is unaffected by your spells. It's spamming me, so I'm not going to be taking any damage. And the angry little shit just hit me with his rock fall. So now you're going to put on your melee, you're going to crack it. Just whack him once and then run away. Whack him once, run away. Bleeds do help here. If you have a bleed attack, as you've seen, the bleed is actually what cracked it. Now you can kill it with melee, or if you want, whoops, well, you can switch to magic or ranged and finish him off. It doesn't matter. The main point is you need melee to crack a shell. Okay, now I'm going to show you one of the unused crystals. So you see, take crystal magic. This crystal will boost your magic damage. Seems all fun and games, but you don't need it. And if you get to a point where you're running out of time or you're on the other end of the arena or mobs are going to kill you, you don't really want to take the time to step out there, grab it, take a bunch of extra damage just for a small damage boost. You can ignore it. There are ranged and melee ones as well. Again, useful but not necessary. So safely ignore them and continue going. Now at this point there's not really anything to tell you, so I'm just going to continue killing. Uh, just you can follow along quietly. There's not a whole lot to do, but I'll pick it back up at wave 10 when we run into our first Jad. Alright, this isn't Jad, but so you don't freak out. This big fella, the Tokarket Zek, big guy, scorpion tail, they're nothing to worry too much about. They have a little bit more health, but other than that, they just do magic damage. So again, if you're running range, you're going to eat their lunch. Otherwise, you can more or less safely ignore them. They're not going to really do a whole lot to bother you. Just kill them like any other mob. If you do take a little bit of magic damage and it worries you, then you can either pray for magic, soul split, whatever it is you need to do to reduce the damage a little bit. But for the most part, they're just any other mob. Go ahead and nuke them down and move on. Now, up to this point, I haven't mentioned it only because not everyone's going to have it. But you can use any kind of uh, aura you want. You can run your vampirism, corruption, damage aura. I wouldn't suggest your high-end damage auras, maybe corruption or dark magic, because it doesn't have a negative. There's no loss to defense. And you can run vampirism for a little extra heal if you want to. You don't necessarily need it, but it lasts for an hour, so it's going to be plenty of time to to do the entire fight kiln and then some. So if you want to do that, feel free to. Um, but again, not necessary, and it's something that if you don't have it active or if you've done the fight kiln once already and it's not ready for the next one, that's fine. I'm going to be doing it without it. Um, or if I do turn it on, I'll save it for just Harakin. But other than that, you really shouldn't have to worry about it too much. For the most part, food, soul split will carry you through, and you won't need to worry too much about it. You can also bring, if you so desire. Again, I don't suggest it just because the halberd's extra reach or halberd-like weapons, i.e. the scythe, does come in handy. It's super useful. But if you wanted, you could bring a Saradomin sword passive and use that to kill some of the monsters just to get a little extra health back, restore some of your prayer, that sort of thing. Okay, so we're on our first Jad wave. Now, as you'll notice, the Jad spawns to your left. He always spawns to the left on the first wave. In fact, all Jad spawns will always be in the same spots. Now, they won't always be in this corner, but the first one is always in this corner, and the spawns are very predictable. So, when it comes to Jad, you want to be in a ranged, because he can melee you, and you do not want that to happen. At this point, you need to learn about prayer swapping. So in this case, you have to worry about ranged and magic. So you want to start on ranged. That's generally where he starts. Not always, but generally. And you'll watch his animations to switch as needed. If he rears up on his back legs, it's magic. If he smashes the ground with his front legs, it's ranged. So get ready to prayer swap and then run into combat and attack your first Jad. Okay, so the first one is ranged. It's that simple. So that's magic. Ranged again. And you repeat this process until he's dead. And you've seen he did ranged a second time, so no need to swap. He does not always swap. Sometimes he'll do the same one over and over and over. Other times, he may swap on every single attack. Now, there is a difference between this Jad and the Fight Caves Jad that you may notice. This Jad does not heal. He cannot heal. The Fight Caves Jad on the final wave will heal. So just keep that in mind. These Jads are significantly easier due to the lack of a healing mechanic. So the first one was primarily ranged monsters. Now you're going to start in the middle again. The second row wave set, which we just started with killing our first Jad, will be primarily magic. And you'll notice that your L-shaped wall has just shrunk a little bit, so it's no longer quite as useful as it was, but the effect stays the same, so don't worry about that. Now we're going to be switching over and we're going to be killing some magic guys for a little bit. Again, you do need to remember to pick up your crystals. Now, you had your restoration crystal on wave 3, wave 5. I know I missed the wave 5 one. Again, you don't need them, but they are nice to have. And then you have your invulnerabilities on wave 1 and 13. So we've got the wave 1. We're going to be getting the wave 13 here in about 2 more waves. And those are somewhat useful, though again, you only need really 2 of them. You would maybe use one for your double Jad wave. There is one where the Jad spawns kind of behind you later, and so maybe pop that for when he spawns just in case, so you don't get killed on your first hit. But simply knowing he's there and keeping your screen kind of turned in the direction to see him will definitely make it easier to see him, and you need to focus him down. But for now, just pick them up. They may be useful, but I wouldn't worry too much about it. Anyway, I'm going to get the crystal on wave 13. I will remind you about it. But other than that, I'm going to just go ahead and keep killing the waves until we get to wave 20. That's going to be our next Jad wave. Okay, so now I'm coming to the end of wave 13. This last guy is about to die. So at wave 13, just remember, run up here and get your next invulnerability crystal. It's going to be just south side of the middle rock. And then run right back to your corner. Alright, so wave 16, you have a restoration crystal over here. I'm going to snag real quick. I'm going to head on back. We're going to wait for everyone to show up. And I do apologize. I missed the restoration crystal. I didn't realize that was one that spawned on wave 16, but at least now you know. Alright, we're on wave 17 now, and as you can see, you have your very first big melee mob, the Tokar It Mejkat. The Mejkats have a special ability that if you do damage to them, it doesn't, doesn't have any problem. But if they damage you, they can heal off of it. This is somewhat problematic. So as you can see, I'm standing at the edge of the L here. I got him locked up at a range so he couldn't hit me. And if you're using magic, they go down really quickly. I do not suggest trying to kill them as melee. But if you're coming as melee, then you can protect from melee, and it may take a couple extra hits to kill them, or if you have a scythe and can still catch them from that extra space away like I did, even better. But again, just kind of like the big scorpion-tailed guys, just another new mob. It's better not to get hit by them, but it's not a big deal, nothing to worry about. Now, if you're wondering what I was doing there, I'm just getting a little damage on these guys while these other ones are kind of coming towards me. But I make sure to run into the L before they get to me so that I can lock the melee guy up right there. You definitely want that happen. If he comes around the edge, it's not fun. Again, not a big problem, but it's better just to avoid that eventuality if possible. So once I hid for a second, go ahead and pop out, kill those two guys, kill the guys in the southeast corner, and then kill the last one in the southwest, or last two rather. And then you'll be on wave 19, which I believe is your first uh, memorable dill wave. Okay, so wave 19. We should have a dill or more than one dill on this wave. Alright, there's your 4 magic casters. 3 more and a dill. There he is. Cranky little armadillo bastards. Alright, got 1 kill. Go back and hide. Now, if you're wondering why, in this case, I'm clicking the one in the back, and for those of you who use magic more often than not, you'll know that your fire breath is an AoE. It can cleave, so clicking the back one will actually force your fire breath to go through the front mob, thus causing damage to both. So you definitely want to position yourself favorably like that just to get that little extra damage. Saves you some time and headache later. Something just to keep in mind. Alright, so we're going on our second deal here. Just remember, switch to your melee weapon. And then crack his shell. Again, bleeds help a lot. Hit him once or twice. And then run away so he doesn't get cranky. Let it kind of reset. Then you can finish killing him. And this is a half wall. So if you have mage, ranged, or even halberd, you can kill him through the wall. Save yourself some headache. Now this next one is a Jad wave. So be aware, Jad will spawn on this next wave. So go ahead and get ready for your mage or range. As you can see, he's going to spawn here again. So we're going to go ahead and run around here, and we're going to kill this guy. And we're going to come back and we're going to kill our Jad. Okay, so remember, start with ranged, just because that's most commonly his mainly used one. And then go ahead and run in position and attack. Nope, he's going to start with magic. Okay. Now this is different for everyone, so don't take my ranged or magic into account here. It will be whatever it is for you. So pay attention to it. Smashes ground is ranged. Rears up on his hind legs. That's magic. Okay, so now unfortunately, if I remember correctly, the L-shaped rock is now gone. It is no longer usable. Yeah, no more. So the new safe spot is the middle. And it's going to be more or less right where I'm standing. So at this point, it's good to face your camera towards the south. And you're going to want to be on the right side or eastern side, or rather, I'm sorry, western side looking south. Now on the 21st wave, you're going to have a bunch of these little melee guys spawn. So you want to kind of bring them over here. Don't worry too much about killing them, just because they'll needlessly do damage and eat up your food. You're going to run to the far corner. And I'm not going to be using cardinal directions now because I'll be facing south. But run to the far corner, get them all grouped up, and then run around this little edge. And what this will do is it will get them all gathered up to where you can kill them with ranged or magic safely. Now at this point you want to always reset back to the right side of the southern end of the middle here, right where I'm standing, because at this point this is going to be kind of your go-to safe spot. And you're going to be primarily fighting melee, so magic will have an advantage at this point. You can kind of kill whatever spawns on your side, and then use this as a safe spot for the other side because you've got the mesh cots that are going to hurt. Now, as you can see in this point that we have a mesh cot on the back left and front left corners, I just took one step to the right here and locked up both of them. So now I can safely kill all the other trash mobs quickly and then kill these two guys without any headache. And they're not going to be able to touch me. And again, make sure to reset back to your default position after each wave, because our next Jad will be coming at wave 30. So we're on 24 right now. Nothing new is really going to happen. You're going to get some melee guys. You're going to get some range guys. You're going to get some magic guys. Just do the best you can. In cases like this where you get multiple of these mesh cots, just try to kill them. Throw on your protect from melee, and then just kill the ones that come at you that you cannot avoid, preferably using magic or ranged, as they have the highest defense against melee. But after you get one or two killed, usually you can lock up the rest of them, and they're pretty simple. And it is the guys like this, which is why I turn off auto retaliate. Now you're going to pop over here, kill this guy. You can turn on protect from range for a minute, just to go ahead and nuke these guys down and try not to run in there towards them. And kill the range guy last. And then go back to default. On this wave, you're going to be fighting multiple guys here. So you're going to want to pray from ranged, and then you're going to want to kill your melees first, just to kind of get them out of the way, because they're a massive pain in the ass if you have to deal with them. After this, you can step over here, take care of your ranged guys, lock your magic guy down. Remember, default position. After the one on the right's dead, we'll take one step to the left, and we can kill the left one. We still got the mage guy locked down here. And if you want, switch to some soul split and then kill the mage. Get a little bit of healing off of him. I like prodigious use of stuns on this, just because the more he's stunned, the less damage he can cause you. Alright, so that was wave 25, so now we'll have an invulnerability crystal. Make sure you pop around and snag that real quick. You should at this point have between 1 and 3 restoration and up to 3 invulnerability crystals. So in this one, you want to pray from ranged. You want to kind of get over here. You're going to kill the ranged and or magic guys. Lock down your melees. Then you're going to kill your melees and your magic last. Okay, so we're pretty caught up at this point. Go ahead and drink you a little bit of prayer if you need it. Eat you a little bit of food if you need it. Pray for magic. Kill your melee guy while he can't touch you. And then kill your mage guy last. And reset to default. Alright, so now we're going to be going on wave 27. This will be our final restoration crystal. It'll appear after the wave. So get ready. We're going to have our mage and our range pop up as per normal. We're going to have our 2 mesh cots up here, so go ahead and pray from ranged. If you're running magic gear, pray from magic. If you're running ranged gear, kill the melee guy that comes up next to you. And then we're going to kill the Mej cot that's kind of off to the side here because he's going to be annoying if we let him get loose. Oh, he can attack us, so we're not going to do that. Alright, now we're going to take a few steps out here, and we're going to kill our mage guy. It's at this point that you'll start taking advantage of your tick eating. Alright, now the range guy's dead, you can switch to soul split for a little healing. And kill the last couple of melees. Don't forget, wave 27, you're going to want to go and get your last restoration crystal, which you will have for hopefully Harakin, possibly double Jad waves if needed, but preferably Harakin. And now you have your 4 Dill waves. Now this is kind of a pain in the ass. Now I didn't mention this before just because it's one of those things that you'll have to kind of deal with in your own way. But what I like to do is to choose a corner, go over, kill the Dill quickly, because if you don't, he will smash your face in because they're angry little shit stains. As soon as one Dill is dead and you can guarantee that you're not going to get attacked by the other one, go ahead and kill your mage guy. If a Dill does come, turn off your prayer, switch to melee, and kill the Dill. Alright, now you can turn your prayer back on and continue to kill your mage guy. Alright, now that he's dead, no more prayer. Keep your melee gear on, and you're going to want to go and grab 1 Dill at a time. So snag 1, run away. and break a shell. This is the hit and run method I was mentioning before. Alright, so you got one shell broken. Hit the other guy, run away. Hit him again. Run away. Alright, so both their shells are broken. Now you can kill them. Angry little bastards. Okay. Same thing with the other side. You're going to want to just kind of drag them over. Crack the shell. And reset to default. Re-equip your mage armor. Refill food if needed. And get ready. Alright, so here's your 4 melee run. This one's going to be a little rough, but just pray for melee. Take out the 2 on your side, and then the other 4 can wait their turn. Alright, now take 1 step to the left, and we can kill this guy, and we no longer need prayer. At this point, they're easy to kill. Alright, now, this is going to be your next Jad wave, wave 30. So reset to default. This is important. Get ready to turn on prayer. Now, it shouldn't be a problem, but just in case, shit happens. There's your Jad, and we turned on Protect from Magic just in time. So you want to be on the left-hand side. Now you're going to go ahead and kill your 3 melee guys. So you protect from magic or ranged or whatever if needed, but if you're on the left-hand side on wave 30, Jad cannot touch you. You can take your time. Take 1 step out, kill the melee. Now this is important that you're very, very precise on your movements, because that happens. He's going to immediately try to attack you, and you need to make sure you have a prayer ready. Now once you get him going, it's as simple as switching prayers as needed. And he dies fairly quickly, and you'll move on to the next wave. Now this is not the hardest Jad waves. This is not even remotely the hardest Jad waves, because the hardest Jad wave is not even the double Jad wave. As long as you stand on the left-hand side there, neither Jad can touch you in the double Jad wave. The tricky part is whenever you have the single Jad that spawns over here that you cannot avoid. Unfortunately, my familiar's about to run out. This is no fun. Okay. Oh boy. Alright, we're gonna have to waste some food here. I don't have a choice. Waste a little bit of food. what to do. Oh, fuck. Okay. Just protect from range and kill these. This is pretty simple. I'm gonna have to drop some blue blubber jellyfish. Should have renewed my familiar before I came in. I forgot to. Why is he not attacking? Is he? Oh, okay, there he goes. Yeah, a bunch of blue blubbers. It's not a big deal. I don't need them. I'll take the rocktail though. Alright, reset. Have your melee waves again. Protect from melee, use magic or ranged, preferably to kill them. Now, we're going to be getting Jads much faster from here on out because we're nearing the end. At this point, you're going to have a Jad at wave 34, 35, and 36. So, this is 32 we're currently on. 33, we'll have another big wave of ads. And then 34 will be our next Jad. Now, I believe it's either 34 or 35. The Jad will spawn in the back left corner. And at this point, I'm going to actually use my overloads. Now, I brought 2 overloads just to show you that you can use the inventory space for more damage if need be. You do not need to. And as you've seen, there was a theme with 31, it was all range, 32 is all melee, 33 is all magic. So you can plan accordingly for that. Have your prayer up if need be prior. But up to this point, it's not been too bad. We're just going to finish nuking these guys down, and the next wave will be a Jad wave. Now, at this point, this is when you want to go ahead and get your trigger finger ready for changing prayers, because as soon as these guys go down, it's going to be time to fight a Jad. Now, I will say, if you get used to it, and you can remember which wave it is, 34 or 35, where the Jad will spawn on the north, I guess, eastern corner. From where I'm facing, it's the back left corner. Then you can maybe LOS him around the edge, maybe. But otherwise, it's more of a just get ready to get blindsided by a big Jed popping out of nowhere to attack you. Let's go ahead and drink you a prayer potion and get ready because the Jads will come. And here we go. Alright, so luckily the Jad was in the upper left corner, which means good news. It is wave 35 where the Jad spawns where you don't want it to. Now, you see I inched my way to the right. You can take care of the ranged dad. You can take care of him second if you want. I like to kill him first. Now, at this point, I like to go out a few steps and move over so he can fight our Jad. Give him plenty of room. Alright, there's magic. And then just start doing your prayer swapping. At this point, it's pretty simple. You won't actually take any damage as long as you do your prayer swapping. You will shield every single attack. Alright, reset to default. Now, I'm wanting to say this one is where the Jad spawns in the back left corner. But don't take my word for it here. I just believe that's the case, and if that is the case, simply wrap around to the upper right corner and you should be safe from the Jad. Nope. Ooh, that hurt. So, okay, I managed to find a safe spot. Do not do this at home. This is not a good idea. You would normally want to kill the Jad first while trying to safe spot these two, but I'm trying to be tricky on this one. So at this point, switch to the Jad, and you just want to kill the Jad. You're going to take some damage from the range guy. There's nothing you can do about that. Just focus on the Jad, heal up when you need to, and change prayers as you need to until he's dead. This is the hardest part of the Fight Kiln. Now once he's dead, go ahead and kill the last guy, and you'll be on wave 36 with your double Jad wave. So you're going to want to reset, get in position, go ahead and keep your prayer active, refill it if you need to, and get ready to switch prayers as needed because 2 will spawn in the upper left and upper right. Now, as you see, as long as you stay right here, they can't touch you. You're perfectly safe from both. So, what you want to do is take 1 step out and 1 step to the left, and you'll attack 1. Focus on prayer swapping as need, and he will die. As soon as he's dead, do the same thing. You'll move to the right and take care of the one on the right. Okay, he's down. Now we're going to go ahead and re-up our super potion and start taking care of this Jad. Now he's going to automatically run to you. Now if you did take that step inward, you could hold him there and he wouldn't attack you, but I don't see the point. Go ahead and knock him out. You're already primed for prayer swapping. Go ahead and just finish him off, and then you'll be on to the final wave with Harakun. Now Harakun is very, very easy. He is the easiest part. If you have vampirism on or something similar, you pretty much don't even need to eat a whole lot of food. You can do him without needing almost any food whatsoever, as long as you do it the right way. There's Harakun. Or Harakin, whatever you want to call it. Okay, so at this point, it's not so much a block that you're worried about. What you want is to stay in a side or a corner, and you want to clear out tentacles. Because you notice he could hit me when I was in the middle, but that one cannot touch me when I'm way over here. So the goal is just to kill tentacles in the room and keep it clear until Hurricane pops up. And you want to try to keep 2 full sides clean and at least half of a third side. So I'd say you're looking at 3/4 of the room you want to be able to keep clean. You might take a little bit of damage, that's fine. Okay, so he popped up over here. You have your overload up. This is where you want to pop your high-end prayers. If you're taking damage from one of these and it's a problem, you can pray against it. Otherwise, just worry about using damage prayers. Because at this point, you want to nuke this guy as hard and as fast as you can. For no other reason than you just want to get it over with. At this point, you've been in here for dang near, yeah, just at an hour. Okay, so I got him down a little bit, and he runs away. Now I'm going to run back to my little corner over here, kill any tentacles that spawn, turn off your prayer so you don't eat it up. Make sure you tick eat as needed so you don't eat up any of your adrenaline. And make sure to move at this point. I mean, obviously you probably shouldn't be messing with this, but it's not too bad. Move any of your major adrenaline draining abilities away because you want to keep as close to full adrenaline as possible. Okay, so it looks like I'm getting mostly ranged here, so I'll go ahead and turn on protect ranged. Tick eat a little bit. Alright, Harakun's back up. Okay, now that you're nearly full energy, go ahead and mess him up, get your energy, pop your sunshine, and absolutely go to town on this guy. Alright, and that's it. I actually forgot my prayer that time. And as you can see, if you had vampirism here, your damage just from killing these things would pretty much keep your health in stasis. It wouldn't really go up or down. It just kind of sit. Now I'm eating a tiny bit, but I'm mostly just eating Ceridolman brews because they're quick, easy, 1,000 health, and they don't take away any of your adrenaline. All right, Harakun's up. So go ahead and come over here, drop your sunshine, turn on your prayer, and go to town. Realistically, you should be able to kill this guy in 4 to 5 attack phases. This is my third one. You know, magic is not my strength exactly, but not too bad. And I've got him about a quarter of a health. And dots, as you can see, such as poisons, bleeds, etc., will tick even while he's underneath. Now, as you can see again, I never used any of my invulnerability crystals, and I only accidentally used a single restoration crystal. So they don't really become something you need per se. You only need some food, but if at this point you are running low on food, you do have them, use them as needed. This is the last phase anyway, so go ahead and pop you one just to go ahead and get back to that full health, full prayer. Pop your prayer on, pop your sunshine, and then just go to town on this guy. And if you get lucky, you can kill him in 4, which I think I might be able to pull off here. Nope, not quite. Close, but not quite. That's okay. But as you've seen, once you make it to this point, you're pretty much done. There's not really anything left for you to worry about. Oh, and he's up. All right, and I am officially done with the Fight Kiln. Took exactly 1 hour, 4 minutes, and 36 seconds. And at this point, he's going to say, hey, would you like a cape or an onyx? So I can get the cape, the Tokar Kalamej, because I was primarily doing magic damage, and the Mej is the magic, or, being I already have the cape, I can get an uncut onyx, which is what I'm going to do because I have them. Yep. And you're done. That is the full Fight Kiln, as perspective of the slowest possible method or first method.